Today we're going to look at the cases functionality within SMP. I'll be moving through administration, looking at things as a CSR manager, and also the view of a CSR agent when dealing with cases in the system. Cases being the dynamics term for ticketing. So if you're familiar with ticketing systems, there'll be many concepts that you're familiar with in here. First thing we'll have a look at is the admin side of things. Uh, as you can see here, we're starting up with the typical things you'd expect. So whether we're configuring email templates or setting up any SLA levels within the system, but we're going to look at some of the fundamentals here of how different streams of tickets can be managed and how they can be pushed to different users as is appropriate. So looking at the customer support overview, first thing that we can see are users within the system. So if I select a user here, I'll just move through and select my own account. And the first thing that we'll see in here, are the queues that I'm a member of. So this is going to become an important concept throughout this. So we'll use queues to manage different products or potentially different business units within a single organization. The aim being we want to get tickets of a certain type to the kind of users who can address those tickets. So we can see here I'm a member of two queues in this case. So I have my own queue, which could be my own mailbox. I'm going to filter certain emails or all emails potentially into the queue here and escalate those into cases. Or I can be a member of a more general queue with other users within the system, and we'll all be able to assign ourselves cases that are coming from those queues. Digging a bit further into user management, we also have a concept of skills in the system as well. So you can see there's a few predefined characteristics here. These can be tied to users, but also critically to jobs as well. So when we go to assign a user to a job or accurately look for users who can do certain jobs, it will look up these characteristics, look what people are capable of, and making sure we only allocate users to jobs where appropriate. This also gives us a skills hub as well. So as I'm very much on the administrative side here, I can see those sort of analytics in terms of how many users we have with particular skill levels, so I can make any kind of staffing decisions here. We can also set proficiency levels as well. So it's not just a case of someone can or can't do this. We've also got the actual concept of how good they are at a particular skill at the same time. And again, you're going to have that level of granularity. It's optional to the extent that you use it. You can set up, as you can see, your own proficiency levels. So you can do that to whichever degree you think is appropriate. But a lot of flexibility there. We can also include certifications as well. So if there are any certifications that someone needs for a particular job, again, information can be tied to a particular user and a particular job. Looking into the queues, if we just have a look here, I do have a few examples. So in this case, we can see I've got my own queue. These are my queues, there are probably many more within the system as well. But just for the example here, we have two different product lines that we're potentially feeding. So we have two dedicated CSR teams with completely different skill sets, addressing completely different products. Then we can sure those are all separated out and we don't get any overlap in terms of the skills and the users critically. So moving in here, as we'll see, there are email settings and where we can say any particular mailbox. You may have a mailbox that you share with one type of customer base where they can push any of their support issues to, and then that will feed the queues and then feed the users. We can see we've actually got a couple of items in this queue. So generally, as I'm looking through here, the system's giving me an overview of what falls within queues, what falls within skill sets, so I can see how these map to what's happening within the system. Finally, here within the case case settings, one other thing I'd like to point out are subjects. So this is the added detail underneath the queues that things might go into. So you can see I've got some top level subjects here again for my product lines. But if I've got sub products within there, and this, as you can see, this is a tree, so this can get very, very nested. You can have as many kind of sub items as is required. And that means when we go and have a look at a case, we'll see that things are tied to these subjects. It helps with tying cases to knowledge articles, so the system knows where to go and look, and we'll see suggestions of knowledge articles as we go on, um, and as well as reporting as well. So when we see any of the dashboarding within the system, we will see things based on subjects or based on queues to help give context to what we're seeing if we're getting an overview. Other things here just within the agent experience. So you do have the ability to create different kinds of agent profiles within here. And these can feature things where we'll include information about maybe the user's inbox, what we're going to show on screen at any one time. So again, you can customize the experience, and you'll see when I go in as just an agent, I'm going to get a very stripped down view, which is very focused on my cases that I need to resolve. So again, you can choose which additional items you want to throw in, and there may be things that get added in through omni-channel if you choose to go down that route as well. Also within here, we have information about the knowledge articles, so you can begin setting up any templates and kind of search filters and tagging that you need to do, any kind of organization of your knowledge articles. And again, this helps tie things back into the cases, and letting the AI make suggestions to users. Also, we have the ability to turn on any of the insights here. Again, these are um, optional features included on top of Dynamics and available through the licensing. But you can see here, I've got certain things enabled. We'll see these as we go on in terms of any customer service analytics that we want to do. I've also got the knowledge article stuff turned on here as well, so we can have a look at that. There's also these AI features, which are, again, the things I've been mentioning around cases where we may suggest similar cases based on the data within tickets, and also on the knowledge article side as well. So that's having a look at things as an administrator. We'll move application within the system, and we can also kind of change persona at this point as well. So if we go into the customer service hub, this is more of a manager's experience, looking at cases within the system. We'll just let it move it to application here, and I'll be presented with a dashboard initially. So great. Okay, so now we're into the manager side. So you can immediately see I'm presented with a management dashboard, just giving me an overview of which agents are assigned tickets, what our cases by SLA status are as well. So we can see what's kind of progress and how long things have been open for. Critically as well, I can see things by queue within here. Now, if you want just queue specific dashboards, then you can actually create new dashboards in the system. You can just clone these and add any filters to the visuals that you want, and then provide just case-based dashboards within here. There are a number of other standard dashboards that are provided as well. So again, if I'm looking after, say, the knowledge article side of things, I can see the status of knowledge articles within the system. I can also see the impact of articles that I've created, and how many kind of views they're getting, that type of thing. If you're looking for more business intelligence, then we have the insights here. So these are the things that I were mentioning is turned on previously. So talking about knowledge articles, I can look at analytics of those knowledge articles, get different sites here as well. And one is some of the very useful things in here are looking for things like search terms that are presenting no results. So you can see areas that you need to actually fill in within your knowledge base. So it's going to do automatic searches based off certain information within tickets. So you get these kind of metrics, and you can see what users are doing within the system in terms of interacting with those knowledge articles. There's also business intelligence here for the actual customer service activity. So based on the cases, it's actually loading in these Power BI views now. And this is going to feed on kind of all the case information. It'll also bring it in any of the customer satisfaction information based on surveys that you're pushing out. And again, you can automate it in the system that you automatically push out. Any surveys, or as well as sort of automatic responses based on activity within cases as well. And of course, again, you can filter these by the queues that you have within the system as well. So if you need to just look at one side of your CSR activity, then again, you've got those available, as well as being able to look agent or actually how cases have come into the system as well. Now, that was the manager view. I'm just going to go in as actually a CSR agent as well. So this is, again, persona change. If I'm just looking to address tickets rather than my manager dashboard, which is my default, I'd be presented with the agent dashboard. So this is going to show me any cases that I have active, anything that I should be working on, as well as any just open cases that are not any individual. Within here, I can look at the actual tickets. I can convert things to work orders if someone needs to go out into the field and take any kind of action there. But as you can see, the system is suggesting knowledge articles, similar cases to go and look at based on the information within here. If we move into details, we can kind of put if we've got kind of nested cases, we can track those, and also if there's any SLA tracking, potentially just by the customer that's raised their ticket, this will all automatically be filled in here as well. We can assign these to queues. So if I look at the queue details, we can see this is assigned to a certain product line. And this is also where the cases come in as well. Let me just this within the subjects here. This is where I can get into that granular level of product lines, and then potentially any sub products within there as well. So you can keep the level of detail that you need, and again be able to report on these tickets in any way that's relevant for your business. So yeah, that's an overview of the case functionality, looking at things from a administrator perspective, a manager, and down to a user as well. So there's a great deal of flexibility in the system. It's all really to do with that initial configuration to make sure that a user looking at this kind of view is just getting the kind of tickets that they should be dealing with and is applicable to the products that they look after, and also ensuring that we're providing them with the information they need to quickly address that ticket, and that might be knowledge articles, any kind of scripts that they must run through with the customer as well. So yeah, that's an overview. If anyone requires any more information, please feel free to reach out and we can provide any more detail as needed.